you, Mr. Speaker. It's an honor to stand in this House and speak to this bill. The intent of the bill, I absolutely do support it. And it's encouraging, and we've heard from the honourable member that respect is important in the workplace. Being a paramedic, an advanced care paramedic for over a decade, working for Alberta Health Services in the City of Calgary, being the president of QP 3421, president of the Calgary Paramedics, I've also sat at the table. And I encourage the government on this bill, absolutely, and again, and those departments and agencies to collaborate, because it is time that there is a paradigm shift in terms of where government and public service, how they negotiate, and creating a new path forward. And to speak to the critical services, and I hope that as we move forward in further readings and into committee of the whole, that the government would perhaps take a look at one thing, and the one issue that I have with this, again, being a paramedic, you referenced police officers and firefighters. Paramedics work alongside that very group. And I know, and listening to the stories of the strike in 1990, you ask any physician, any nurse, most of the collaborative healthcare, which do amazing work, but they say, bring the paramedics back. They're crucial, they're vital, I can attest to that. They're one arm of that collaborative practice front that makes what I think our health services one of the best because of the quality people and the skills that they have. So to take that frontline service off of the street, I think, is a danger to Albertans. And I think it also, unfortunately, messages to that group with the day-to-day work that they do. And again, still a registered paramedic in this province, I am. It seems to diminish their role. They have one foot in public safety and they have one foot in healthcare. And I know in discussions with the Honourable Health Minister, there is a role to expand the practice of paramedics, to work in the community, to help fix some of those things. And I go back to what we launched and engaged. And just for a minute, if people would just take the politics out of it, take the hyperbole out of it, and listen to that one particular cost savings when it comes to healthcare. We heard that there's only 10% of what's going into the emergency department, and my friends in allied healthcare know that there's a lot of people that make it to the emergency department that don't need to be there. Paramedics can play a vital role, and I know the minister's working on this, and I applaud your government and the work that she's doing around this, around more collaborative practice, allowing nurses, advanced care, critical care paramedics, even basic life support paramedics, our EMTs, to do the work they were intended to do the work they were trained to do, which will create alternate destinations. We're talking about saving billions of dollars, creating efficiencies, and paramedics and emergency medical services will have a crucial role in that, being the first and lots of times the first door, the first window for many people to enter our healthcare system. So I hope and I look forward, and as you discussed in your caucus, that paramedics be included as part of that group under police and firemen to be an essential service, because I would hate to see, and one of the odd things too is we know that there's the direct delivery that Alberta Health Services provides, so the City of Edmonton, Edmonton Metro and Calgary Metro EMS services. What's odd is that they would be allowed to strike under this law, but a private operator that owns a private ambulance service is considered essential. So the messages are mixed there, and so my hope is that you take a look at it, include paramedics and emergency medical services under that line. And in fact, I think my colleague from the Liberal Party would probably agree, as we have many friends on that frontline staff. So, yeah, thank you for your time, and I hope that we can work on that.
Are there any questions, the honourable member on 29-2A?
Between the public and the private ambulance services and what he's, I think, alluding to in terms of their capacity for strike.
Honourable member?
That's news to me.
Yeah, so the private care is a contract that goes through Alberta Health Services, so it's an outside contract, and then there's direct delivery, so directly owned and operated and managed by Alberta Health Services. That's what we call direct delivery. So that's the majority in the province, but there are private operators, and again, maybe because it's worded in the legislation, and I may have to correct myself, that anybody who's contracted to do a service falls under this legislation as an essential service is what I'm guessing. But those seem to be the highlighted pieces from the members on the street and some of our dear colleagues and friends that that there just seems to be a mismatch there in terms of why somebody who's, why our paramedics direct delivery aren't considered essential and why private contractors are considered essential. So.